Hi there, this is a new video from Serena, and today we are continuing to make a lovely kumihimo and wire wrap jewelry necklace. And here what I did for today, it's the ordinary wire circles like a jump rings, and I used the hammer to make them flat. And here's my stone. It's a clear quartz stone, and also have pinkish amethyst. And now we have to make a shape similar to our stone. And remember that the frame, so now it's from this time it's a frame already, must not be too much visible, so it's better to be under the stone. And the problem is that the stone is round on the back side, it's not flat, and the wire jump ring is flat, so we have to change the ring's shape using our pliers. This is not difficult, but you have to do this gently. Uh, Today's work will be the connecting of our jumping rings. It must not be jumping anymore, and it must not be open anymore. So that's what we are going to do. But first, we're going to change the direction of our wire jump ring. So just I pull it a little bit up. So after we put the stone on it, the wire will be not so visible, it will touch the stone perfectly. So a little bit up, and it will fit the shape of our faceted stone. If you have a cabochon, it's not needed, only for faceted stones, because faceted stones have a flat surface and the back side is a bit round or triangle sometimes. So you see what I mean. So it's a little so like this. It's not flat anymore. And now put the stone on it. And we see that the wire touching properly the stone per each side. So our jump ring is ready for the work, and the work will be very interesting for a women. Probably you've never did it before, but don't be afraid, please. It's very simple and very nice work because our stone is clear, and I could connect the ring easily by making a loops on the back side, but my stone is clear and the loops will be visible, so I don't want to make loops today. I want to have a perfect connected ring, and that's what I'm going to do. Maybe you will use this tool and take it from your husband or your father, because generally men have many tools. So let's get started. So that's what I need for today. It's my general pliers, because when you will use a really hot soldering iron, I hope so I correctly pronounce it in English. When you use it, the copper will become very, very hot. So when you're working, please hold the wire jump ring by your pliers. So here is my tool. Here is my soldering iron and the wet sponge. The wet sponge I will use to clean my soldering iron. And here is the exit. It's like a jelly exit, and the tin wire for my soldering iron. The tin is really breakable, so when you're controlling the process. Make sure that your soldering iron is very hot, better over 350 degrees per Celsius. Otherwise, your tin will be not shining and like not smooth. If the surface is not smooth and it's not looking shining, it means that um, your tin is covering your copper ring not correctly, and it will be breaking very fastly. Hopefully I'm explaining as I can. So I put some acid on my copper ring, and you see the temperature on my soldering iron, and just making the simple actions. Hopefully it's visible. It's quite difficult for me now to hold this hot stuff in front of my camera, so excuse me please, I cannot show you closer. So just heating the wire itself and just using the tin wire, touching it with my soldering iron, and put it on my copper wire ring, and you see that it's a shining surface now, a little bit black, but it's okay. But the metal must be shining, polished, look like a polished, and and the surface must be smooth and clear. If you put too much tin on it, don't worry about. You can we will remove it later. So you see what I'm doing with the sponge. I'm cleaning my soldering iron very simple. If your husband's soldering iron is too thick, because generally men have very big ones, just take the wire, copper wire, size around 0.7 to 1 millimeter, and just loop over your soldering iron end. I mean around the end of soldering wire, and make a loop and make a sharp surface. So you will work using the soldering iron, but touching um, touching your work with the thin wire you looped over. Hopefully you understood what I mean. But it's very simple to transform the old soldering thick iron to the thin one to use for our needs. So you see, it's not too clear as I was planned, but I will remove extra tin very easily, because tin is soft. Tin is very easy to remove, so don't worry about. And that's what I have. I will show you now. Lots of you will say, oh, why you do this? This is so simple, just make few loops around and fix them somehow. But now I have a perfect shaped frame for my stone, and the wire is not visible on the back side, and the stone is perfectly clear and visible, all the faceted sides. And my jewelry will look more professional. Believe me, it really works. But there is one negative part of this work, that the tin is really easy to break, because when you work with this copper ring, you put too much tension when you work it over with a thin wire. My thin wire is 0.4 millimeters as usual. So now we are going to work in Viking knit style. So you see how many techniques we will use for this jewelry, for this necklace. We started with kumihimo and chip beads, and now we are moving to Viking knit. So we are making the first looking like a flower petal. Control the process by your fingers and make sure that your petals will be the same. So 2 first loops and then a small petal. Now I am on the area of my tin fixation. So on this stage, be very careful. I'm not pulling too tightly because I will break my connection. So you would say, if it's so breakable, why are you using this? Because if I don't use tin, if I won't connect my ring, what will be happen? My winding will just fall off because the ring will be opened while I'm working, and it can spoil my work. And after I finish the connector itself, there will be no tension on the central stone at all. Nothing will be fixed to this frame. So this tiny connection will never break. But my loops of the tin copper wire will be protected, and they will always stay on the right place. So I'm moving on and keep making the petals. I am correcting them with my pliers, but I'm trying to not do this because pliers are breaking in the wire and scratching it. So try to avoid it. The first line of my petals is the easiest, but there is one tricky thing about, and it's not just about not breaking our tick connection, but how to connect the first petal and the last one very carefully, and to move to the second level of petals. So I will show it to you in all details very closely, so keep on watching and be patient because it will be a long video. It's a very important little details which help you to create the perfect jewelry in the end. So these all details are very important. So you see what I'm doing now. Looks like it's very simple, but it's not. So you have to focus on the size of your petals. They say that as small as your petals are, as the beautiful your jewelry is. So, but I cannot say so. I made so many Viking knit frames, and I use the tiny stones as well, really small stones, like 1 centimeter diameter, and I found out that the big petals, big loops, or petals, how I better call them, I don't know. So are also looking nice on the small stones. So as you see, my first petal and the last one now meet together. And what is the tricky thing? Now we have to move to the second level. And here I will try to show you closer. Now I will make like a little hook on the end of my wire. I feel myself as a surgeonist, like I'm sewing up the cotton skin. So I put my wire inside of a petal and move it outside of the next petal. So I'm moving from right to the left, step by step. This is not the work to make it in a hurry, because this action is the most important. Moving to the second level, because now we are squeezing these petals, connecting them together, and this is a real risk to break the tick connection. So please, yes, if you do this you will be able to correct it, but it will be not so neat. So please be very careful. Do it very slowly, and give attention a little each time, and don't pull too tight. So I think so. I don't have to make any comment, and it's very visible on the camera. After making each petal, you have to watch up your first and the last petal of the first level, because there is a distance appear between them, because we are pulling and we're doing it tight, and these petals are moving away from each other, and you have to avoid it by pressing them together each time. I will show you later how I do it. This work forces you to be accurate if you want to do it nicely. So no rush. And move up slowly. So you see this area. So it starts to become empty, like one petal is gone. So pull them and push them together. Because when I finish the second level, we'll have to move to the third, and we'll have extra space between first and the second petal, and we'll have to pull too tightly and it will break the thick connection. So I'm talking too much about it, but please, it's very, very important, because I really want you to make a professional looking jewelry in the end, and you will be very happy and satisfied with yourself and with your jewelry. It really costs your own patience, believe me. When you are using the clear stones like a clear quartz, or maybe rutilated quartz or citrine, I mean the fair colored stones. So if you have a jasper cap, for example, this is not needed. You can just make flat loops, make them flat using the hammer, connect them together on the back side of the cap, and make the same petal action by, Viking knit technique. So it makes it work more simple, simpler than what I'm doing, of course. But if you have a clear faceted stone, just to have no other choice, and I strongly recommend you uh, to do what I did with the copper ring. So you see, each time I'm pulling them and pushing them together. So I move to the third level, and this is the important thing, that our wire connects two petals, and we are not touching the past level. So the first level, the second, now we are on the third, and we are not touching the first level, only the second one. Just pay attention at this, how I do it. I'm pulling here very, very gently. Even if your petal will be too big, just please leave it like this. It's better than you will break the ring. So, if your copper uh, wire ring was not connected like I did, it will also create a problem because your loops of your petals would run away from the wire. So in each case, please be careful with the tension of pulling of the thin wire. I will try to show you closer. So I put my wire into the next petal. I'm not touching the previous petal, the petal from the second level, from the first level, sorry. So now you will understand what I mean, I think. And we will move on like this up till we finish the third level of our petals. Only then we'll be able to move the stone to the center. Some jewelry makers, they start with the stone from the beginning. So from the first level, they put the stone and they are moving with the wire on the stone. I'm not doing it, and I'm not recommend you to do that. Um, my way is much simpler. My stones are not big, and it's enough to make around 3 levels, and by fourth level we are fixing the stone. And it will be enough, because also I don't want to cover my stone too much by these wire petals. I want my stone to be visible, so that's why I have to make sure that it's fixed and it won't fall off from the frame, but I want it to be clear from all sides. And why I like the Viking knit frame, because stone is not covered properly, because Viking knit has the petals and you can see through the petals. You see the color, so it's not a piece of metal like um, so you see now how it must look like. It's not like a general jewelry when these all sides of stone are covered and fixed. So you see what kind of lovely flower we have in the end. So it's my second stone, and I already prepared it to show you some corrections. I love this kind of amethyst, the lavender color. We call it Rose de France. Uh, I like them much more than dark amethysts. They are gorgeous and they're so gentle, and they are so bright in another way, and they fit copper, they fit golden color, jewelry or silverish. They can be matched with everything. So that's why I like this color. So what we're gonna do is to pull up all sides of our bikini frame, and to fix it on the stone, and then we'll keep on going, working on the stone. We won't remove the stone anymore, and I cannot say that this is not comfortable. This is a simple work. So you see the back side. So that's what I mean. Our stone is clear and the jewelry looks gorgeous and professional look. No extra curls, nothing extra on the back side of our faceted stone. So I'm starting to make my first petal over the stone, and this will be the fourth and the last level of petals, and we will finish the work for today. Um, Now our work will look a little bit different, and I find this job simpler. I don't know why, but when I holding the stone and putting the wire petal on the stone, I don't know, the process is simpler. And then I'm moving it in the air. Well, it depends. Maybe it's my own feeling. Um, so I want to show you closer. So the action is the same. We're putting the wire inside and outside the next petal and moving to opposite clockwise direction, oppositely. So that's how I hold my stone, and each time I'm looking and I'm watching the as we say, the ribe of the stone, the side between back side and front side. I'm holding my fingers and putting my fingers on the front and the back side of the stone and looking at the side between them is the most comfortable way to work with the frame. And in such a difficult job, in such a difficult action, sometimes it's simpler to show than to explain by talk. Um, so sometimes I use video, sometimes I use photo, because there are some jobs which are so small, so tiny. So working on the camera is very hard, and I have to hold my hands in front of the cam, and my hands are not fixed, and my job is not neat in the end. So, and still it's not possible. So photos sometimes are better, sometimes not. So sometimes I'm matching them, photo and video, to make all the process for you simple, understandable, and you can repeat it yourself. All process has the danger for a thick connection of wiring from A to Z. So please be careful. After you finish, and after you connect this, we can knit frame to the winded frame, so it will never be broken. So it's really handy, but creates a problem or when you combine everything together, because after all we will have a winded frame around. This weekend needs more frame, so we'll have a long job in future. And then we will connect all parts. I mean kumihimo, this connector, some beads. But this is one of my favorite necklaces, honestly. So, finishing the job, just a few more steps. The stone is not properly sliding inside of the frame. It's fixed, but if you press strongly, you can a little bit move the stone, especially if you think that your petals from both sides are not really the same. If you see that the left and right side is not similar, you can a little bit move the stone, but not much, because it's a rather strong fixation. And it looks like a flower. It's really gentle look, and I love it. I love it when it's patinated or the bright copper. It's wonderful looking. And here's the back side, a little bit pushing all the petals from our side to opposite side, like this, by finger. Don't use tools for this. We're like a pressing, strongly pressing the petals. I won't remove my extra thin wire. I will use it to fix the stone on the winded frame. So you see what I have. Very gentle look and a very nice faceted stone. So I will correct some petals. And guys, subscribe and wait for my new video, and we'll make a connectors and all necklace. We'll finish it together as well. Follow me in the YouTube and in the Facebook. Watch up my new jewelry, my new necklaces, and this technique and different techniques. So that's how our stone will look like. This is a different jewelry. It's my special collection with the pendants. Also have rose quartz and garnet. It's a different stone, but it will look like this into the frame. So okay guys, that was Serena, and see you next time. Cheers.